Melissa, I don't know what the window situation is like in your house or your bedroom, like where they are, but what is the weirdest thing you have ever seen when just looking out your window from your apartment there? Is there something that comes to mind?
No.
Not particularly.
Sometimes I see a lost balloon, and I hope it gets to wherever it's going.
Sure. That could be pretty weird, right?
I saw a truly baffling thing while driving the other week.
Ooh, tell me, please.
Driving down the highway, I thought I saw a person huddled in the back of a pickup truck covered in mud. Like they were somebody who just escaped from the predator and were catching a ride out of wherever the predator was predatoring.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, am I seeing a crime in progress? Somebody getting out of a crime that was stopped? What am I looking at here? Why are you back there? Right. And as I drive closer, I realize what it is a life-size, incredibly realistic bronze statue.
Okay.
It looks like it's a statue of somebody like it might have been like a mother and child where she's just got her knees up to her chest and she's got like her baby in the crook of her arm and like she's touching her forehead against the baby. That's what I thought it was. But boy, was I startled.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything like I've certainly had moments where like I did not realize someone was in the back of someone's pickup truck, right? And they're just like sitting there chilling, being like, "Oh my God, that's a person."
You know that person's there, right? I'm not seeing like they don't have a hook for a hand. I'm not seeing an urban legend in the making.
Right, yeah. But I just yesterday morning, I went into our living room and I could hear some people outside. And, you know, when you live in a neighborhood, the sound kind of bounces off of the like flat surfaces of houses. So you're not exactly sure where everything is coming from. And so I happened to look out my window and to my surprise, I see a chicken in our front yard. Ah! Yeah. And 3 of the neighborhood boys like trying to surround it and corral it and catch it. So I don't know if this like someone in our neighborhood has chickens in their backyard or something. We haven't noticed it before. But I was just kind of baffled that there's this chicken in our front yard.
Did you try to help at all?
No. So I immediately was like, Rachel, you'll never believe what I just saw.
Rachel, you help them.
Yeah, you have to check this out. And so I brought Rachel over to the window. But of course, by the time we got back to the window, everything was just completely gone. No chicken, no kids. The neighborhood was quiet. So was I hallucinating? Who knows?
Where did the boys take the chicken? Or where did the chicken take the boys?
We're asking the tough questions here.
A chicken that keeps a human coop.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to number 285 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how's your week been?
The world got some very good news this week.
Ooh, okay.
Have you ever heard of the most mysterious song on the internet?
I think I saw a post about this week. Some kind of Russian song.
Ooh. I don't think that's where it ended up being from.
But some radio broadcast that some kid had been like, what song is this? And no one could figure it out. I saw something that this happened. And I thought about bringing it onto the show. But I was like, I bet you Melissa is on top of this. So please, what is this?
This is a story I've been following for like 5 or 6 years. And I think the story might have been like 15 years old by the time I found it. It's been one of the biggest subjects in the lost media community, that some kid in the 80s in Germany would record songs he liked off the radio onto a mixtape. And there's one song that he was never able to identify. He's like, I missed the first couple seconds. I missed the radio DJ giving an intro or giving an outro. I never heard what it was. I never heard it again. I don't know if I've ever heard this band in another context doing another song. Internet, can you help me identify what the song is? And nobody could do it. And people would try comparing it to other bands of the era and of the region. Is this from a really small band that like never took off? And it sounds vaguely European. So people are looking all over the continent at all sorts of different bands. Is it this Greek band that had an album and a half and then disbanded and one of the guys died? And that's why we don't know what it is, because the guy died and the other guy's not answering our emails to say, is this you? Did you record the song when you were 23 years old? It's been through so many different attempts, so many different close calls, people saying, if it's been this long and we can't identify it, is it a hoax? Did somebody make this up? And finally, this week, so the kid recording the tapes would frequently listen to a German radio station that was called it was a radio block called like Music for Young People that was hip, up and coming, and like independent artists.
Sure.
And they're like, if he knows what radio station it was and what programming block it was, this should be able to help us. But even going through like the radio archives, as best as they still exist from like 1984, you didn't get the leads you'd think you would get. But somebody found that radio station would also play live recordings of like a local like battle of the bands or something like that, some sort of a showcase for young and independent and up and coming musicians. And they'd play like their demo tracks, or they'd play like live recordings or something like that. And finally, we were able to trace what it is. The song is called Subways of Your Mind. And I think the band is called Fex, F-E-X. But
FX?
they're still out.
Something, yeah, Fex. Huh.
No, yeah, they're still out there. They're like, oh boy, you guys love our song? We had no idea. F-E-X, Subways of Your Mind. They're like, we're going to re-record this as a treat for everybody. Thank you for never giving up the search.
Amazing.
Yes, after like 20 years, we have found the little German band who recorded this 80s lost new wave song.
That's so funny, because like at some point, like certain things on the internet, even though they're a big deal on the internet, a lot of people can still kind of miss them.
Yeah,
there's certain things that are also just like so commonplace that it's just like, how have you not heard of this thing, right? How did you not know that your song was this mystery song?
It's a subculture thing. Like this is something I'd been following for 5 years, but you had never heard of it before this week.
Yeah, no,
and we're both, and you're a more online person than I am. Like, you can miss this stuff really easily. There was another mysterious song that people had been searching for in recent years. This one did not take so long. This would just popped up like 2 years ago or something, that a guy posted on a Reddit or something somewhere. I have a clip of a song on an old data CD. I can't identify the song. I can't find it anywhere. I know this is from a time in my life when I was playing around with recording audio, and I probably recorded it off of a TV. I have no idea what it is anymore. Can anybody identify this clip of a song? And the guy was helping us out. Not us. Not like I do anything. I just watch secondhand, like blame it on Jorge and Wang and All Things Lost talk about this stuff after the fact. But he was helping out, giving clues. Like, it would have been recorded maybe on this type of equipment at this time, in this year range. And I live here. People are trying to find this song, and it sounds like it's maybe from the 80s, has a sort of bright poppiness that indicates it could be like a jingle or
Mhm.
something, or some sort of like bubbly pop song, maybe for like advertisement or something.
Sure.
And the original poster helps out for a little while and then eventually like goes quiet, like isn't part of the search anymore. And as people continue to not be able to find the song, they're wondering like, is this a hoax? Is that why he disappeared? Until they find that this song was in a 1980s adult film. And they're like,
Just
that's
watching
probably why
porn.
it went that's probably why he went quiet, as he realized what it was and couldn't admit it.
Oh man,
But
that's so
those
funny.
but like this reached the songwriters, these songwriters who did work in whenever an adult film needed music to it, or for other, like B horror movies and things in the 80s. They're like, wow, we can't believe everybody's been trying to find our song. This means a lot. We're still working musicians. Check us out. We'll record a new version of the song for you. It's really heartwarming that somebody can have this little scrap of something and just
Yeah.
want to know, what is its name? Who made it? How do I properly credit this? And hundreds, thousands of people on the internet will devote so much of their time to trying to find it, to the search for truth, factual truth. What's the name of this band? What's the name of this song? And
People like mysteries and puzzles and stuff.
right. And like they will strive for years, and things that you think are lost or that are fake will turn up. Like it has happened.
Yeah.
There's always a reason to
That's so
hope.
cool.
And so frequently when somebody finds something, they will tie it back to the original person, and the original person is like, oh my God, I had no idea people were looking for this, or that I meant this thing to this people. Thank you. Like they're sort of befuddled, but it's frequently
Right. Yeah.
kind of sweet that they're like, I see the hard work you did. I thank you. I'm going to try to interact with you. And when it's a band, they're like, we'll record a new version of the song if you like it so much. We'll remaster it.
Amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, I love lost media. I love a success story.
It's good. It's good. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't think I've been involved in any kind of search like that. I feel like the closest thing I felt like I got swept up in for the like internet was the like Adnan Syed case when Serial was happening and all of that like that felt like the only thing that I was like swept up in. Like we need to like keep looking. Who is Jay? What does he say? I don't know what's happening here, right?
I thought you were going to talk about that top secret album you've been trying to find for years. We have to spend an entire episode and really dive into it and solve this mystery, because I feel like we could.
Yeah, or just like make a Reddit account and put this out there and be like, hey, this has plagued me. Also, there's this Nicolas Cage movie that I don't know which one it is.
It might have been The Family Man. Still not sure. There's like a kid's computer game I remember playing it when I was little that I haven't been able to identify or track down. And I found a Reddit thread
for me too, yeah.
Right. I found a Reddit thread once where somebody asked, hey, I'm looking for a game. And they described exactly what I remember, but nobody in that thread like ever helped them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. People are crazy sometimes, just with the amount of stuff that they can do or find and devote their time to. It's kind of wild.
The devotion. People who are like, I am going to contact a German radio station and ask them, do you have a record of all the songs you played in this block from 1984 to 1986?
Right.
And somebody at the radio station will say, I'll try to dig that up for you. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Melissa, it feels like it's been a long time since you and I have had like a regular episode, because last episode was our Halloween special. And then it was another 2 weeks before that. So it's been a month since we've just had kind of a normal episode. So what have you been watching? You got a few movies here on your cinema corner.
I do. We're getting to an exciting time of year where some of the awardsy movies are starting to come out. We both saw Conclave. What did you think about Conclave?
I loved it. I
fun.
was super excited for it in the first place. Kind of more than I thought I would be initially, but yeah, it looked like it had a great cast. It looked like visually it was gonna be beautiful, and I'm always on board for a thriller. And so I went in just kind of expecting it to be this kind of like pseudo political thriller. And for the most part, that's exactly what it is. And I was not disappointed in that at all. I think what amazed me is that it still managed to surprise me multiple times. Something I wish their marketing did a little bit better was focus on the diversity in the movie.
Sure,
there's admittedly maybe not as much as I would hope. But there is, I think, an actor who is kind of left out of the marketing, who ends up kind of being one of the more major characters. It's like, here we have a black priest, and he was in none of the marketing. Like, okay,
there are.
I mean, he's not like one of the main cast per se, but he was like kind of right there in the thing, right? Like, I don't know.
There are a number of like international members of the cast who aren't the like 4 primary stars that they put in the commercials. And I think a lot of that was, this is our awards push. Please, may you consider Stanley Tucci.
Yeah. And like, I get that, but also I don't know. I just feel like it was hidden away for a weird reason. Does that make sense? But yeah, still absolutely loved it. And I think the ending especially really surprised me. That was not what I was expecting.
I don't think anybody was.
And I think in light of the election that just happened, I think this is a great one to go check out, especially if you are feeling down about the election or bummed about it. I think this is a movie that inspires hope.
Yes, I think it is. It is a political thriller, and so often those can feel cynical or perhaps even dystopian. This is... there is some genuine sweetness and hope and inspirational things in this without it being a capital I inspirational picture.
Right. Yeah.
And
or
funnier.
Capital P political. Right.
Right. It's also funnier than you'd think it would be.
Yeah.
When the twist happens at the end and you just see how Ralph Fiennes reacts to it, that got a big laugh out of our audience. Because this is this man having like the longest and worst week of his life, and he's just at his end.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what? Jesus, take the wheel. Here we go.
Take it.
It's good. Yeah, I had a blast with that one. I'd highly recommend it. It's beautiful.
It looks incredible. Has Anora been on your radar at all?
It is. I have my tickets to go see it today. I'm
Wonderful.
seeing it, I think, at like 6 o'clock. Yeah, it looked really, really
cool.
good based on the trailer. And since its premiere a couple weeks ago, I've heard nothing but great things.
Yes.
You even saw a clip of a bunch of sex workers and strippers who went to go see it. And at the end, they were all clicking their heels with the clackers. I was like, okay, all right, that's fun. Good for them.
It is a vibrant movie. It runs the gamut in tone. When it's fun, it's so fun. It's so it feels kind of Uncut Gemsy. You have seen Uncut Gems. I don't think you've seen Good Time, which is the other film by those directors. Good Times, it's similar. It's maybe a little bit more heightened and more frenzied. This reminded me a lot of Good Time. Watching where the story goes, how long it spends in certain things. There are scenes that go on for a lot longer than I would have thought, like in a good way. Like it's
Mhm.
really sinking its teeth into when we throw these characters into this scenario. How long does it take for them to process and talk to each other and like wiggle their way out of it? Which makes it sound like it's a
Interesting.
talky movie. It's not. It's a screamy movie. It's
Okay.
just like fighting and like flailing and yelling.
Good.
I think
Yeah,
you'll
I've,
like
I've
it.
heard nothing but great things about it. So I'm
Mhm.
excited.
I saw Heretic yesterday, which did
All right.
not deliver on what I was hoping for, which is just a fucked up maze house. There's a lot
Ah,
less of that than I would have wanted. And that's a thing you get so rarely in horror. You will have like a creepy guy and a creepy place, and the creepy place is just a dungeon.
yeah.
And I'm like, I've seen dungeon. What else do
Give
you
me a
have?
maze. Yeah.
Right. What body horror is to the body. Give me that for a space. Give me that for
Yes.
architecture. Please. Distort it. Just show me a place I've never been to before and would have no idea how to get out of. So the movie's a wild ride. It does slow down in the second half when they get into a dungeon. You're like, oh, it's dungeon. I've been to dungeon. I feel like I'm settled in and I have a greater expectation of what might happen now. And
Yeah.
the first half of the movie is a little bit more on edge and tense and like, what is this guy's deal? Like, what does he want? Where is he going? How much of an actual threat is he? Another movie that is funnier than you think it's going to be.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I
We've
thought
got
it
it.
was fascinating that they had a movie called Heretic and Conclave like out at the same
Right.
time.
Or that they had Heretic and Here out at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
Vastly different film.
Here tick.
Pick whichever is best for you. Choose your path. Belief, disbelief, here, heretic. Kyle, you have to tell me about Piece by Piece. I do not know a single
Yeah.
person who has seen Piece by Piece.
So I went to go see this a couple weeks ago, and had a blast. It was very charming. This is the kind
Nice.
of for the Pharrell biopic that is all done in Lego pieces. It's an interesting one because it, on one hand, I think it feels like it was meant to be a regular documentary about him,
Yes. Yes.
and then he just like weirdly had this insistence on like, no, let's make it in Legos, which is part of the trailer and part of
Yeah.
the movie. And he's just like, no, let's just make this in Legos. And then I think they brought that idea to Legos and was like, yes, but we need to make it more of a movie or something like that.
I think it happened the other way. The story I had
Interesting.
heard was that you remember the Lego movies, right?
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And another studio, besides whatever studio made those to begin with, I'm afraid I don't remember. It must have been Warner Brothers because it's got like Harry Potter and DC characters in there. So
For
I think
sure,
another studio bought the rights to make Lego movies and then realized they didn't get the rights to any of those characters. Like they can't make a movie about Emmett and Wild Style and Unikitty.
Everything
just
is
have the
not
right to-
awesome. Everything is
They just have
missing.
They just have the right to make a movie in Lego. And I guess whatever the studio is, it's Focus Features. Is that it?
I don't
Who made Piece by
remember.
Piece? It doesn't matter.
I can look
But like
it up.
they didn't have the same bank of characters in their wheelhouse that are already Legos that you can play with, like Harry Potter and Batman.
Yeah.
So they're like, we have the right to do something in Lego. What? Now what do we do? And I think like their license was going to run out unless they did something.
Focus
and they
Features.
were working on this. They were working on this Pharrell documentary. And I guess they're like, what if this is Lego? Just put these two together. We'll get that movie out and we'll get a Lego movie out. We've checked 2 boxes. That means we can keep the license and do something else.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I would believe that for sure. But yeah, like it's interesting because on one hand, it feels like it was just meant to be a regular documentary, so it's not really fully like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to go into it knowing that it's not like here's a brand new Lego movie, right? It is something else. But man, Pharrell just has such incredible music that the whole time you're nodding your head, you're tapping your foot, you're kind of moving in your seat. It's really fun. It's interesting to see places I've been to in Virginia, because he is from Virginia Beach. To see them being like, yeah, this is where I grew up, and here they are built in Lego. It's like, oh, that's the statue of King Neptune right there in Virginia Beach, where everyone meets and all of that stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, you get to see like just his kind of story as he progresses through the music industry, and what that was like. I don't know much about the ins and outs of his life besides what I saw in this movie, except I did know that him and I forget the guy's name now, his partner on a lot of it, I don't think they were on necessarily good terms recently. They're a bunch of legal battles on like who owns what, but I think they were at least civil enough to work out whatever they had to, that he was included in the movie. He's a major character in this. He voices himself. Yeah, it is hilarious. When they bring in Snoop and they like are very obviously like smoking weed, and there's weed smoke in the air. There's all these clever ways to not associate the Lego brand with that stuff, right? So it is maybe a little more family friendly than you would expect. But it was also a Lego movie, so maybe that's what you expected. I don't know, but it's interesting. I got emotional. I teared up at certain times, just to hear the kind of depression that he was going through, to see him almost baffled and confused about how people have connected to certain songs of his in certain in certain ways, and how that fame was like, but that's not what I want here. Like that, no, like no, please. And then just to kind of relive my middle school, high school days when he was making stuff a little more actively, and then to hear certain songs like, oh, I didn't know he made that beat. All right, there you go, good stuff. So yeah, good times. I recommended it a lot to my mom. I was like, Mom, you would love this one.
Nice.
You'd absolutely have a blast. So good stuff.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
How much of Barry have you seen? Is this the Bill Hader hitman actor comedy Barry?
Yeah, indeed. Still kind of slowly making my way through all of the streaming services. I've been on HBO Max and trying to knock out all of the shows that I want to watch on HBO Max. And Barry was next up. There's 4 seasons, total 32 episodes, 8 seasons each. I mean, 8 episodes in each season. I did not know that they were closer to the half an hour time length. I thought they were full hour. But they are not. They're a little shorter. So I've seen the first 3 seasons
already
now. Yeah, watched like a season a day the past couple days, and it's great. I love it. It is so fantastic. Have you seen it at all?
No, No, I've been saving it for
No?
the review show. If you tell me you want to watch something, we can just make it an episode.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we should cover it on the review show. It is great. So here's the thing with that. I did not know that this was also a comedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything I had heard was, hey, do you remember the comedian Bill Hader? Well, here he is in this non-comedic, serious crime role. Isn't that strange? And I was like, yeah, sounds good, though. All right, I'll put that on my list. And yeah, it has certain serious crime moments in that for sure. But oh my God, it's hilarious. It's so funny.
I thought it was primarily a comedy. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's 50-50. It's a good mix
Okay.
of stuff. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. The guy that has been cast, I don't remember the actor's name, but the guy that's been cast as Metamorpho in James Gunn's new DC universe, he's in this playing a character called NoHo Hank, and he's phenomenal.
I know the character named NoHo Hank. I've heard there's many characters I've heard of. I know of NoHo Hank. I know of Cousin Greg. I don't know these men and what they do, but I have heard their names.
Yeah, just absolutely phenomenal stuff. We will have to check this out for sure. Absolutely.
Nice. How about The Outsider? Have you watched much more of that?
Yeah, I'm making my way through that one too. I've made it through the first 6 episodes. Did you have you stayed with it at all yet?
No, I already have homework. I've been watching Escape at Anora.
I've been watching that too, Melissa. It's great.
I don't know how you get so much time to like watch all this stuff in a day.
I work from home. I just have it on. The Outsider. So we covered the first episode for the Pilots Club this month. You guys can go hear us talk about that over there. And yeah, I stayed with it. I've watched through episode 6, so I have the final 2 left to watch. I'm still enjoying it a lot. I feel like it does kind of take a pivot once the other detective comes in. Holly Gibney, I believe is her name.
Yes.
The actress who's playing Elphaba in Wicked
Cynthia
later
Erivo,
this year. Yeah. She comes in and she ends up becoming the main detective, and Ben Mendelsohn takes a back seat. But yeah, still fascinating. Definitely in the supernatural area. Still really enjoying it. It's fantastic. I like it a lot. Very dark.
Nice.
Very just like when something like intense happens, it's that like quiet intensity. It's the like, does he know that I know kind of like in intensity, and like, hey, I forgot something. I need to go back. No, we're not going to go back to here. And it's just like, shit, he knows. Like, fuck. All right, here we go. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Cool.
It's good.
I watched a great serial killer movie last night. Kyle, have you ever heard of The Cell?
I've heard of it. I have not watched it yet. It's been recommended to me in the past.
I watched it because I recently went to see the theatrical re-release of The Fall. Do you know The Fall?
Maybe.
I know I've pitched it on the review show before. This is a movie set in like the 1920s in Los Angeles, where Lee Pace is a stuntman who suffered a terrible fall. And he's laid up in bed at this hospital, and there's this little girl at the hospital who'll like just go wander around and talk to different people. And he starts telling her this incredible, fantastical story that's like so colorful, so vibrant, so dramatic. It's a beautiful movie, not just visually, but it's so poignant. It's funny. It's sweet. It's heartbreaking. It's a really remarkable piece of cinema. And I hadn't seen it in so long. It had been hard for you to get your hands on, and it just got like a nice remaster and re-release.
Cool.
This is from the same director. They're both from Tarsem Singh. So after my
Okay.
friend and I went to see The Fall, we're like, now we gotta watch The Cell. And all
Right.
I knew about The Cell is that it starred Jennifer Lopez and had a bunch of wild costumes in it.
Yeah.
And those things are true.
I've heard of both of these. I haven't seen either of them.
The Cell has a wild everything. It's not just costumes. It's like Seven, but if Seven was an episode of Fringe, where
Sure, okay.
there's a serial killer who will like trap women and slowly like trap them in a tank and slowly fill the tank with water and kill them, and et cetera, serial killer things. It's very Hannibal also. If Hannibal was the Matrix, maybe is another way you describe this thing. And Jennifer Lopez is the psychologist who uses this, like, she puts on a weird suit and she hangs from wires and puts a cloth over her face, and she can go inside the mind of, she works with just this one patient, this like boy who's got this fictional version of like a catatonic schizophrenia. And the same thing happens to the serial killer. He goes catatonic. And they're like, he still has one victim out there who was trapped, and we think we can save her in time. But he can't tell us anything because he's catatonic. We have to get it directly out of his own mind. Jennifer Lopez, put on your weird suit, get on your wires, go inside his head, crawl around, see if you can find out where this woman is.
That's awesome.
It's everything in the dreamscapes is so dramatic and theatrical and like excessively designed. It looks like it's a bunch of creepy old paintings.
Okay, yeah.
Like you're just wandering through Francis Bacon land up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had
That's
a wild time. I think you'd really dig The Cell. It's an art kid. It's,
art kid film. Yeah.
The ultimate intersection of you as crime boy and art boy. The top film that intersects right there between those two circles is The Cell. You can't get more crime or more art. It's 100% on both.
Awesome.
The top edge of like the little chart, the little XY chart.
The exact middle of the pie chart thing, or the yeah. Good stuff. Cool. Well, I think that is mostly it for our cinema corner. So let's take a quick break for some housekeeping. When we come back, got a bunch of pop culture news to catch up on, some exciting stuff here. So we will be right back. Let's see if this housekeeping button finally works. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you didn't know, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. But none of this is possible without your support. Head over to patreon.com/thewhatnauts and you can get access to over 40 hours of exclusive content, including our Patreon first podcast, The Pilots Club, when you sign up at our $3 tier. Of course, there is a free version of the Pilots Club available, but episodes are exclusive to our Patreon for 2 years before they hit the free feeds. If you're interested in buying merch, we have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more for sale over at thewhatnauts.com/store. Another great way to help us out is by subscribing and leaving a nice rating and review on your podcasting app of choice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for video versions of the show, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, you can always find out more information about the shows we make on our website, thewhatnauts.com. All right, we are back. Thanks again to our Patreon supporters. Big shout out to y'all. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
We love you a lot. Over on the Pilots Club, I already mentioned The Outsider. You guys can go hear us talk about the first episode of that, which is a crime show miniseries based off a Stephen King book about a guy that is suspected of murdering a young child, but evidence also contradicts that. Like, evidence puts him there definitively, but also is like a state away at some other conference at the same time. What is happening?
How is he two
here?
places at once? Yeah.
Yeah. So go check that out. Over on the free version of the Pilots Club, we released our episode on Mystery Incorporated, the kind of fan-made pilot for a Scooby-Doo, a live-action Scooby-Doo show that we did a couple years ago. That was a lot of fun. Right here on the Captain's Log, we had our Halloween special last episode, which is always a blast. One of our favorites here at the Whatnauts. We were in costume. I was dressed up as Slimer. Melissa, you were dressed up as the mime from the M&M's commercial. We had a blast.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, go check that out. That was awesome. Then over on the review show, we did a movie from, I believe, 1997 called Contact by Robert Zemeckis. And Melissa, you pitched this one because Zemeckis has a brand new movie out right now. So we thought, why not go check out one of his older ones? And Contact was fantastic.
Not just, and as you're a big sci-fi nerd, this is a harder, more grounded sci-fi, not quite as fantastical. It's not Fringe, for instance. And you'd never seen it, never really heard about it. So I'm happy we got to fill out our knowledge of this genre.
Indeed. So for our last bit of housekeeping is more so a question to you, Melissa. We have not very many episodes left for the end of this year. Typically, we do our Rotten Tomatoes movie prediction thing at the first week in December. But I think the way things play out, that will be our final episode of the year. So do we want that to be our final episode of the Captain's Log for the year? Or do we want to do it next episode, which would be like the final week in November? Because we go from December to December is what we do. So
we do.
So that way we could just have a final episode. I'm okay either way. I just wanted to know if you had a preference.
It's a fitting finale. It's one of our most fun episodes we do every year. It's got real stakes to it. One of us might Venmo the other person $10 to buy them a pizza if we got the most predictions correct from last year. You can't find higher stakes than that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with us doing that on the 8th as our season finale. That episode always runs a little longer, so it's like a fun, big treat at the end of the year. Sure.
Okay, cool. Sure. Problem solved. There we go.
Stamp.
Indeed.
Gavel.
Indeed. Yeah. Oh, actually, I do have that meme somewhere on here. Does it still work?
You have objection.
Oh, is my thing working? Come on, buddy. Where are you? Here it is. Yeah, gavel.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Good stuff.
I thought it was just objection, and I'm like, we have the opposite of an objection. We have an agreement.
I still have objection. I still have the Michael Jordan, stop it, get some help. I have a button that will do a random animation from Clippy. I have all of the stuff that we still have. But but haven't used them in a long time.
We need to invoke Austin Powers more often then.
We do, yeah. Or whenever Spider-Man news comes out, we can have a Spider-Man dance party, all of that good stuff.
We have had some level of Spider-Man news. Destin Daniel Cretton is going to be directing Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, I think actually the most recent news is that it starts filming next summer in 2025. That it has been officially,
So Spider-Man 4 is due to come out summer, like July 2026, I think, which is also the release date for Christopher Nolan's next film, which will also star Tom Holland.
Yeah, and supposedly Zendaya, or Zendaya, I never know how to pronounce her name.
I think it's Day.
Zendaya. Thank you.
Yes.
But yeah.
But I don't think I've heard that she's going to be in it. I think she like read the script and is just sort of looking over his shoulder.
Maybe. Who knows?
I think Matt Damon's supposed to be in it. And I think it's about helicopters.
There you go.
There was a rumor it was about vampires, and now it's about helicopters, although there's no rule
helicopters holding vampires, right? Or vampiric helicopters that turn other planes into helicopters.
Wow, a helicopter that bites you, and then it turns every vehicle into a helicopter. The skateboard is now a helicopter.
You're a transformer now.
This is actually what happened to Inspector Gadget. Is a helicopter bit him, and then those propeller blades came out of his head, and the rest just came along with. He's Inspector Gadget. He's actually been bitten by like 20 different wear machines, and he's turned into all of them at once.
This is the like dark remake of Inspector Gadget we've all been waiting for.
I'd love a gritty new Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, this is it.
Please, Brandon Cronenberg, hear my voice. Give us. This is the next version. Now that we've seen The Substance and we're hungry for more body horror, the next one is we're getting a body horror.
You guys have seen Titan, but get ready for helicopter or whatever it is. I don't know.
Please, the time is now. The combination is perfect. What else is he doing? Who owns Inspector Gadget? He hasn't done anything in 20 years since that Matthew Broderick film. He's just been lying in wait for a body horror resurgence.
Yeah.
He's got more things in him now that he couldn't have had in him before. One hand is a fidget spinner.
He is the true Swiss Army man. He is the true Swiss Army man.
He has a hand where every finger is a different vape.
Which, by the way, there is a scene in Conclave where someone vapes that I think was by far the funniest scene in the whole thing. Anyways. Melissa, we got a lot of pop culture to kind of catch up on here.
A bunch of little things.
Do you want to start with the trailers? These new Marvel things that we got here just yesterday? These are exciting.
Yes. I've enjoyed the Brave New World trailer, the new Captain America movie starring Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. There's been a trailer, maybe more of a teaser for it that's been out for a while. Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed that. I think it's cut together well. And now we have this new trailer that is just as exciting. I'm pretty pumped for this one. It looks like awesome. It's coming back to the Winter Soldier political thriller type of Captain America movie.
Yes, my favorite.
And it says his name in it. This trailer flashes in big letters, Anthony Mackie, and then Harrison Ford also. But I think this is the first time in like 10 years a Marvel trailer has had an actor's name in it. They stopped
Interesting.
doing it after a while. Like once the thing became so big that like the characters are bigger than the performers, I'd have to go back and watch all of them. But yeah, I cannot remember the last time a Marvel, like an MCU trailer said the actor's name in big letters like that. I mean, maybe at the end they've got one of those titles, one of those title cards with like all the little names, like the whole block listed in it. But pivotal moment. Good for Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this one looked phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed this trailer. It was interesting to see Isaiah Bradley kind of in his like the orange jumpsuit from when he's in jail. My partner immediately was like, wait a minute. Last time we saw him, he wasn't in jail, and I was like,
yeah,
because, and then the next thing they like we saw was him standing up in that one thing and seemingly attacking the president. So yeah, wild stuff is happening. There seemed to be this almost had I wouldn't necessarily describe it as a glitch effect, but almost that like VCR looking effect of things happening on there, right? There's a little bit of static on that, so I'm really digging the vibes of that for sure. Got a great new look at Red Hulk.
Yeah, full look at him.
That was awesome. Yeah, so I'm super stoked. Happy to see some of the characters from the show returning. The Captain America Winter Soldier show. Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Yeah.
Yes.
That's neat. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. But we also got
the hand. The hand's in it.
Yeah.
Hand. God, am I excited for them to get back to the big hand at Tiamat, where they're probably going to find adamantium and fight. You know, I'm sure Captain America can deflect any world war. He's that powerful.
Yeah, who knows?
Good. Let's circle back.
Maybe this is the thing that finally launches Armor Wars down the road.
Maybe.
As like they
Armor Wars?
Finally take a look at what's inside the big giant hand of Tiamat. They extract whatever materials. We know that Riri Williams is out there making her Ironheart suits. I think there'll be some new players on the on the board in the near future here. So we'll see what's happening with that. Thunderbolts. Melissa.
Got not a trailer, but a first look. I guess they call it that.
Trailer. Still kinda.
We do spend like a solid like minute 90 seconds in one continuous scene.
Yeah.
I guess that is what makes it more of a sneak preview than a trailer. See this one. I watched these back to back. This one has character names in it. It doesn't tell you that's Florence Pugh.
Right.
But the Brave New World trailer does tell you this is Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
What a flex.
And Bob. We did get Bob, which is, I guess, not Bob. His... It's the character's name, but not his superhero name, right?
No, Sentry. I was distressed that some things were superhero names and some things were character names.
Yeah, I think they're holding the Sentry reveal in the film. Like, we obviously, like, that has been one of the big Easter eggs. Like, oh, we know he's playing Sentry. That's out there. But they're like, no, he's Bob right now. That's all you need to know for right now.
This is funnier for moms and dads who don't know who Sentry is. They just think it's funny that in this whole world there's a guy just named Bob.
Yeah,
they're like, it's Bob from Top Gun Maverick again, and he's playing another Bob. How funny!
The Bob cinematic universe continues. Or like they see that similar joke in the Minecraft trailer where he's like, and I am Steve. right? And she's like, I am Bob.
I saw that trailer. I don't know anything about Minecraft. That trailer contained everything I knew, which is that it's squares and you have an axe, and there is a guy named Steve.
Yep.
But man,
that's about it.
I've never seen somebody put so much pizzazz on just saying the name Steve. That's what you hire Jack Black for. He's 100% committed. I've never seen that guy give 99%. It's always 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, to get back to the Thunderbolts trailer, yeah, I'm loving this a lot. I like that they do fight, like, even though we knew they were in Avengers Tower when we saw that scene in a previous trailer, I like that they basically name it, like, without actually saying it in this one either. They allude to, like, yes, we are in Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Here for sure. We now know who owns it. I still think it's gonna end up being like the Dark Avengers or something like that. Don't know what they'll change the Thunderbolts name to. They did allude to them changing the name. Like, we can't call ourselves that. There is a line where they acknowledge they can't call themselves the Thunderbolts.
Yes. Do you think Dark Avengers is a spicy enough title that it needs to be hidden from us in such a way? I don't feel like it's that big of a reveal that it needs to be so secret.
I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, because that was the whole conceit with the Thunderbolts originally. Is that they were like this brand new superhero team, and then the twist for those old original comics was, no, these are actually villains, like dressing up as superheroes and all of that stuff. And so we know some twist is coming.
Yes.
Something like Dark Avengers, maybe not the big splashy, like, oh, Dark Avengers, I see what's happening here. But I also don't, as far as team names go, I don't think there is one in particular that would necessarily, like, rock people's worlds.
Right. Unless it comes out like it's Thunderbolts versus X-Men or something. Like, there's very few things that can deliver a big enough punch to hide behind that little asterisk.
Right. And something like that, where it's Thunderbolts versus the X-Men, would absolutely hold, like, would be like world shattering. Oh my God, how did they keep this secret? Incredible. But, like, yeah, like, that is the thing. Like, we keep wondering, oh, they're changing the name. That's kind of what the scuttlebutt has been, right? The rumors. And so I think them playing that up is almost smart. Like, if it is like Thunderbolts versus, or they just end up, it's not even like a change of team name, but just a change of the movie title.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder, I think it might be more like that.
World War Hulk, or something like that.
We're going to have to take bets. This will be one of our bets on our Rotten Tomatoes game. One of us will be team, there's still the Thunderbolts, but there's more to the title. The other one will be team, they're not going to be the Thunderbolts. We'll take either side of the asterisk and see who wins.
Sure, yeah. That'll be interesting, for sure. Let's see here. Moving on. More in our pop culture lightning round. Still from Marvel Studios. Did you see their, like, coming soon trailer for their slate of 2025?
I did. Nice to see that there's that much of Wonder Man coming along to us. That's been something that's felt sort of intangible and fuzzy for a while.
It really has, yeah. And then also getting to see more of Riri Williams in her Ironheart suit.
Yeah.
To finally know that that's coming. It feels like it's been forever.
Yes. That I'm very curious how that one will fit into the timeline, because I think it's been finished for a while. I'm
Interesting.
very curious about the behind the scenes story about why it is coming out exactly when it is coming out and how much it has changed since its original vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, got a more in-depth look at the animated Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon. We've got some more new looks at the Daredevil, the upcoming show with that one. It just looked neat. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good little trailer. Like, hey, we got 2025 covered. Here we go.
And Marvel Zombies is finally a thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was something they announced years ago, and then we never heard anything else about it.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, I'm excited for all the Marvel stuff coming out. It's pretty exciting. Yes, you're about to say something.
Good. I'm saying it's good to have some follow through. And as we talk about how Blade has been not canceled, but taken off the slate and left undated.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense. Like, it's better to just leave it undated than to keep changing its dates over and over again indefinitely. Have there been any projects that were fully canceled from the MCU slate? Because there's things like Inhumans, which transferred from a movie to a TV show that was utterly rendered pretty inconsequential, except for Black Bolt showing up in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. I don't think anything was truly canceled.
Right.
But
it's
then we
just
also,
like,
I don't know if they're doing a second season of She-Hulk. Like, could you say that that's been canceled? Maybe?
No, what I'm talking about is things that were announced that never ended up happening in any kind of way. That the door has been definitively closed on, as opposed to things that maybe there wasn't as much of it as you thought, like a show that you expected to be ongoing that as of yet seems to only be one season, or things that will transform, like maybe go from a show to a movie or a movie to a show.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. I don't think so.
Like, they seem to be very careful about what they announce. So I feel like we are not done with Blade.
Yes.
It's going to have it's just taken a while. And, better for it to take a while and come out good than for them to stick to a release date and come out with something messy.
Yeah, indeed. I agree. Hopping over to the Star Wars universe of things, Andor Season 2 finally has a release date. I believe April 22nd was the date that was going around. So I'm excited about that one. We also got news that a new Star Wars trilogy is reportedly in the works from Simon Kinberg, which will continue the Skywalker story. Which
is this?
I don't know about that one.
The only Skywalker left alive is Rey, and we do have a Rey movie. Is this tied to that?
We don't know. I think last we heard, the Rey movie lost its writer, and they're kind of going back to the drawing board, I think, or something like that. It seems like it's having some issues here. So I don't know. Yeah, are they reworking it now to be a part of this? I don't know. Is this a whole separate thing? I don't know. But someone said, hey, give Simon Kinberg the keys, and this has gotten very not the best reception online. Simon Kinberg, I think they look to his like X-Men Last Stand and other things, and they're like, okay, I don't know about that. And then also, I think people are very tired of the Skywalker story. In general,
when they say, does Skywalker story mean specifically that family, or is it more of a umbrella term for the canon that you have already known and been a part of? Maybe it means we're picking up with characters that were Skywalker adjacent. The people we're not starting with a new thing. It's something from there. We pull our threads from there, even if it
Yeah.
isn't about Rey. Maybe it's about like Poe or Finn or Lando Calrissian. I don't know.
I I think if it is like moving on, I think it would most likely be about Rey and her like general found family. But who knows? It could be like more adventures of Luke Skywalker when he,
Yeah,
like
it could be a Lion King 1.5.
right. Yeah. So
It could be
I
a
don't know.
Shmi prequel. Shmi,
The thing
Shmi
everyone's
Rising.
been asking for. Yeah. But like that's the thing is like I feel like people have been satisfied with that story already, and I think generally people understand that there are other cool things out there in the Star Wars universe, and Disney seems so hesitant to explore them, and when they do, it feels almost kind of half-assed. Or when when actors are receiving hate, Disney doesn't really seem to do anything about it, and then kind of crumbles in the face of like, well, why'd they make this character gay, or why'd they make it woke, and all of this stuff. And it's like, it's not really, if you watched it, I mean, it is, but you don't know what woke means. But that's the whole thing feels like a mess, and Disney is just like, it feels like they're returning to something safe and stuff like that. But even then it's just like eye roll, like, okay, more Skywalker stuff, I guess. But I don't know.
So
I'm still excited. So
sure, I'm also a big theme park person, and it's funny that what people want out of Star Wars media versus Star Wars in the theme park seems to be so different. Because one of the major criticisms of Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars land at Disneyland and Disney World, and of the Galactic Star Cruiser, which was the now defunct immersive Star Wars hotel fictional space cruise ship experience, was that those had too many like new characters you never heard of or seen before. Like they were parks original characters that did not have the same emotional connection. When somebody's going to the park and they're like, I just want to see Han Solo. Why can't I meet Han Solo? Who's this new person you invented who I've never seen before and I don't
saying
care
with
about?
that the like park new exclusive, like yeah, absolutely, there's no emotional connection there, but there are countless books in the Star Wars EU that people have been attached to for so long. There's stuff in the cartoons that some people have kind of written off because it's a cartoon, right? That they're now slowly bringing into the live action stuff, but it's still kind of on the periphery of all of that I think is really neat, and I think people are excited about. Oh, they're bringing in Grand Admiral Theron, like that is fantastic. But just to continue to kind of go back to the Skywalker story is like, yes, we all have this connection to the original. We want to meet Han Solo. We want to meet Chewbacca. Yes, that is awesome. But also, like, you can tell other stories. You can build up these other characters, but you just haven't taken the time to like truly build them up in a way that connect people to them. I think is what is.
I just think like the characters they're pulling for, there's characters walking around the park that I think are original, and I know all the characters from the Galactic Star Cruiser were original, like created for that experience, for that story. They didn't exist in the EU. And there does seem to be this interesting conflict between when I go to see like a live Disney experience, I want to see the characters I've been seeing since 1977. But when I go to the movies, I never want to see those people again. Like we only want certain things in certain places. And I can kind of understand the messiness of the whole what do you want and where and how.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. Macaulay Culkin has joined season 2 of Fallout. I really enjoyed the first season of this. I've only played one of the video games, but I enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to season 2 of this show. It was fantastic. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Macaulay Culkin seems like he will fit right in. I'm excited. Good stuff there. John Krasinski returning to star in a Jack Ryan movie. I recently watched the entire Jack Ryan series that he was in. That was all fantastic stuff. So I'm excited that he is returning to that character one more time. That'll be good. Arcane is reportedly the most expensive animated show ever made by quite a large margin, apparently, costing a total of $250 million to make all 18 episodes, market it, and all of that stuff.
Okay, that's both seasons. I was curious, like,
the entire
what is the breakdown? 205. Okay. Huh.
So,
well, what's the second most? Like, what numbers do you have to compare?
Don't know off the top of my head, but I know there's articles out there talking about it. That's where I saw all of that stuff.
Would have been nice to have an article. You just wrote a statement down in our info sheet. And I'm like, I guess you'll elaborate on the statement.
Quick headline. Check it out. Extra.
You don't need context. Go find it on your
own. Mickey 17, the new movie by Bong Joon-ho, has been delayed to April 18th of this next year. It was originally slated to come out January 31st. So a little bit bummed about that, but excited to see that one.
The trailer looks like a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to this. I wonder if they're just moving it to a time when more people may be able to see it. By that time in the spring, people are going to be in more of a movie-going mode. It maybe speaks higher of the movie. There is the sort of stigma that a movie that comes out in January has
people
been,
forget it.
Right. It has been dumped. It was not good enough to come out at a more popular time in the cinema, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe they're moving it as like, this is to give our movie a little bit more clout, to give it the reputation it deserves, to allow more people to see it when they won't be stuck at home from like anything from like bad weather to I blew a bunch of money over the holidays. I don't have money to go to the theater to I'm bummed out politically. I don't feel like watching a silly movie about 17 different Robert Pattinsons. And if they push it a little bit later in the year, it's got more staying power. If it were to be an awards player for later on that year and the subsequent Oscars.
Indeed.
So I don't think it means anything bad.
Yeah, same here. This was not attached to like, and they're doing reshoots because everything is awful and all that stuff. And no, it's just like we're delaying it a little bit.
We really got to do a study because I feel like more often than not, reshoots have improved something as opposed to being a sign that it is broken.
Yeah,
I feel like reshoots have a bad reputation.
It's the connotation for sure. And that could be for all sorts of different reasons. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It could end up making it better, but it is often a sign of like, all right, something's not working.
Something has not worked.
Yeah.
I have no reason to believe it will not be working by the time I get to see it.
Yeah. Next up, Godzilla. We just passed his 70th birthday. Happy birthday, Godzilla. And of course, they announced that a new Godzilla film is in the works from the same director and writer and effects guy, Takashi Yamazaki, who did Godzilla -1. So I'm stoked about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
awesome
curious
news.
if it'll be a direct sequel or
Yeah.
Godzilla -1 was it not with me not knowing very much about the Godzilla canon. It felt fresh. It felt like let's plant Godzilla in one very specific time and place and look at what is the human story that we can tell alongside Godzilla and how can Godzilla illuminate
Yeah.
a story we've never really told before. I would be curious to see Godzillas in other times and places, almost like what they're doing with Predator.
Oh, interesting.
What if we dropped a Predator here? Then what happens?
Yeah, indeed.
I'd love a historical pre-20th century Godzilla. If you're a samurai and Godzilla comes on shore, what do? You
scream. You run. That's it. You're done.
All you do is
Who
build
knows?
like a big catapult or something. And I'd like to see you try.
Indeed. We also got a new trailer for Squid Game Season 2. I'm super excited about that one. It's coming out at the end of the year. Super stoked about that. Melissa, are you a Squid Game fan at all? Have you seen the first one? No?
I have not. It seems like it would just make me feel bad.
It's tense for sure. But yeah, I'm stoked about that one. And then last but not least, Aardman Animation Studio released a stop-motion short for the 10th anniversary of Over the Garden Wall. Just a quick, 2 or 3 minute short. And I believe it came out the day after Halloween, or something
that's
that.
That's its time.
So yeah, it's my yearly tradition with my partner to watch Over the Garden Wall, and we finished that up on Halloween. And so the day after we had that, and it was like, oh, this is perfect. It was great. So good stuff. Good stuff there.
I'm happy that show has had such a staying power and has become like those old Rankin Bass holiday shorts that seem to you play every year as a tradition, but they operate in kind of a vacuum. There's never really more of them. Nobody's clamoring for a new one. You're like, just same one again. Just play it again, please.
Yep.
And Over the Garden Wall's a bit like that.
Indeed. It's a great show. I love that one. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our pop culture lightning round. That was not everything I saw, but some good highlights.
Right. The biggest pop culture news that's crossed my desk is that early word is good for Nosferatu.
Nice.
Yeah. Hoping that pays off in our film draft.
Indeed. Well, yeah, we got 2 more episodes left of the Captain's Log for this year. Got another regular episode next time, and then, like we said, the next one after that will be our Rotten Tomatoes movie prediction game, which is always a lot of fun. And then, of course, be on the lookout for our end of the year Grand Prix, which will be some good fun as well. But yeah, let's wrap things up right there. Melissa, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
You can email me the old-fashioned way. Just drop me a line at yourhostmelissa@gmail.com.
Perfect. And if you guys want to stay up to date with me, I am at Kyle Springer. If you guys would like to follow all the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts Official on Threads. So please go share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. Watching this on YouTube, plenty more videos right over there, that side of the screen. That would help us out a bunch as well. Yeah, this has been number 285 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.